What's up, everybody? Brian Engelman here. This is the Unhappy Hour. This is the TNAM Network, the New American Media. This is a sports show. What's up, Tom? What's up, Darren? Everybody watching on this camera, you are watching, high five. You are watching on Facebook Live. We have a private group. It's called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Find it, jump in. We let in Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeye fans. And it's pretty much my favorite place for sports now. I glanced through some of Fox Sports 1. I buzzed past to see the hilarity at ESPN, but I really like our group better. I won't sell you any more on it other than jump in, try it, check it out. And invite all your Indians friends, Indians fans that are friends, Cavs fans, all of it. Because, we're in this together and we all like talking, offering our commentary, our thoughts, our questions, our critiques on sports. We grow up and we do this a lot. And then a lot of us move across the country, go away to college, you meet at college, you go back to where you're from, and people are all over the globe, but you still like talking sports. That's what I like. I really don't want to hear a national sports show. I'm very uninterested in a national sports show other than, in passing to talk about what's going on. It's interesting. I'll cover it. Today's going to be about the Cleveland Indians, and I'll get to it in just a second. But I do want to go through what's going on in the world of sports. Let's see. When I did turn on ESPN, they did a whole segment on why did the Penguins go to the White House. What is his name? George LaRocque. I can't think of a worse place for the Stanley Cup. Harumph. All right. That's where we're at in 2017. And I'll just say my only comment on that, and I'm going to move past it, go to the Adrian Peterson trade to the Cardinals. Look, I think you need to be able to have a conversation with people. And when I met Pierce Morgan, I got an opportunity to tell him to his face politely that I completely disagree with him on his views on the Second Amendment, but I appreciate the fact that he's bringing the conversation forward so we can talk about it. I think you have an opportunity when you're an athlete, if you have something to say or if you're a politician, and you have moments to make a difference, and just bailing and saying, oh, that's not for me. I don't know, it's weak. I would have met Barack Obama just as I would have met Trump, just as I would have met Clinton, just as I would have met Bush. I don't know. It's the White House. You go do that when you win a championship. And hopefully these guys can do it, but we'll get to it in a second. Adrian Peterson has been traded to the Cardinals now, which is pretty good. I like the move a lot. Cardinals are without David Johnson. I know I drafted him, so he's not playing in my fantasy league. And their running back position is pretty weak. So here goes Adrian Peterson, 32 years old. Didn't do a whole lot last year with injury, and now he's old, and he was down in New Orleans, and he was not happy. He was not getting a whole bunch of carries, and so they decided, all right, this isn't a good fit for either of us. Let's move along. I like it. It's interesting. It's a good move. I'm a fan. Let's see. Ohio State is playing Nebraska. Ohio State 5-1, playing Nebraska 3-3. That's fine in all. Once you get that first loss as a Buckeye fan, it gets tough to root for them the same because you're just waiting for other teams ahead of you to lose. When you don't have control of your own destiny, that's when things get a little rough in sports. Hello to Danielle. Hello to Big Daddy. Hello to Darren. If you have any comments, any questions about the Indians, Cavs, Browns, Buckeyes, or any national sports news story, put them below. If you want to jump into the show and say something, I will invite you into the program. Why not? Because we're having fun with this new technology and this setup. But I want to go through the rest of the stories here. Yeah, I mean, I've watched, like in the Maurice Clarett year with Jim Tressel, I watched when, Ohio State had to root for other teams ahead of us to lose. And that is part of the fun of college football. Yeah, and you're right, Darren. You're right, Darren. It's easy to freak out after 2 games, after 3 games, after 4 games, after 5 games, after 6 games. But Darren, you're saying the Buckeyes can win out and they're in. How can you dispute that? I agree completely. If the Buckeyes win out, they'll be in. They'll have a chance to play Michigan State. Or wait, who do we play this year? We got Michigan. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing a Buckeye segment, but I mean the Michigan game at the end of the year is always big. The Big Ten championship game will be big, regardless of who's in that. So yeah, I mean I guess you got 5 spots to make up, and a few of them are going to beat up on each other. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you. Penn State's going to be a huge game. Are they as good as we think they are? Is Penn State that good? I don't know. Penn State's been a pretty good story for the past couple of years. Obviously, post Jerry Sandusky. And I've interviewed Penn State people, like the people in Lions of Liberty and John Ziegler, who's convinced that Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno were framed, that there's no evidence in the case, and that it's just a complete witch hunt. It's ridiculous. I don't know that I necessarily agree, but anyway, I'm saying after they almost received a death penalty as a school, as a program, as a football program in the NCAA, they've really turned it around the past couple years. Saquon Barkley really crushing it at the running back position. Something we've been very accustomed to over the years from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Although, I mean, we have moments of awesome this year, I feel like we're missing potential. Something's close, but not quite with the Buckeyes. And part of me wishes we could have got Oklahoma a couple more games into the season once we got stuff figured out. But hey, to Oklahoma's credit, they had the same situation and they did fine with it. So be it. Let's see. Okay, so Penn State, Michigan, Michigan State. I was right on Michigan State. And like I said, I just didn't pull up the schedule in front of me. I didn't know it by heart. James, what's up? Welcome to the show. What are you saying? James, Buckeyes just always need to win the Big Ten title with one loss, and they will be in the conversation with one loss every time. Okay, that's fair. And to the Big Ten's credit, adding the Big Ten championship game was a big deal. It's a difference maker. So congratulations. That's going to help make sure that your best gets represented that year. Could it be an opportunity where a second best Big Ten team is going to get knocked out of it because they lose the Big Ten championship? Well, a lot like the Indians. Look, if you can't win 3 games against the Yankees, do you really think you're a national, that you're a champion that year? You get to be the best. You got to beat everything in front of you. Just do it. And that gets me thinking about the Yankees 5-game series versus 7-game series. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's kind of, I don't know. You're hoping for a puncher's chance as the underdog, and maybe you can just land one lucky hit and take down Mayweather if you're McGregor. I know I'm mixing like 3 different sports here, but there's a point. I'm getting to it. I don't know. The 5-game series seems to maybe favor the underdog team, where if you can just get 1 or 2 lucky plays or, a decent or epic performance here and there, an error or 2 aside, it can totally flip something that would have balanced out over 7 games. Would the Tribe have stayed with a 5-man rotation instead of tweaking it? Yeah, maybe. But once again, if my aunt had a package, she'd be my uncle. So that's just not the case. Let's see. James is saying they are that good if you can't stop their run game. Well, yeah. The running game. I don't know how many in the group or how many watching have played football. I think it helps in trying to figure out when you're trying to discuss the dynamics of a football team, when you're trying to discuss advanced analytics in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, in the second half of games, the first half of games, there really is a grind factor. I remember when we were in the playoffs, we were undefeated. We beat Massillon and then played Canton McKinley. And by the end of that game, they had a fullback. And I played defensive end, and they had a fullback, and this kid just kept hitting me and 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 hitting me. All game long, hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. Little, strong guy. And I just said it was like getting hit with a cannonball over and over and over again. So it's a little bit like maybe like boxing, where McGregor expels a lot of his energy in the first half, and by the end, it's like, no, this is a marathon, not a race. Not a quick race, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint, is what I meant to say. So the timing and the structure and how you can just kind of lean on somebody. And you go, no, I know it's not going to get to you now, but it will get to you eventually if I just lean on you a little bit. It's like that trick. Someone gives you a book and they go, all right, hold this book out for 10 minutes and I'll give you $5. Oh, I can do that. See how long you can do that with your math book. It doesn't hold up after a while. So yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about the Yankees and the Indians in the 5-game series versus the 7-game. I'm not really a fan of the 1-game playoff necessarily. I feel like the best team in the league should get a chance to play the wild card winner. But that's exactly how this worked out this year. I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about on the fly. I haven't developed a full thought process on it. But then again, there's that school of thought where if you're the best team and you play the wild card team, you should only need 3 games to make your point known. You shouldn't slip up twice. But here we are. The Cleveland Indians find themselves in a must-win game. Let's see. Anyway, let me get to everything else, and I'm going to tear into the Cleveland Indians here in a focused way. James is saying wide receiver and defensive back is the biggest issue on the Buckeyes. Yeah, they're giving up some pretty big pass plays, and yeah, for a school that's produced a whole bunch, Curtis Samuel and Michael Thomas. All the way back to Joey Galloway and David Boston. The Buckeyes are used to bringing in awesome specimens at the wide receiver position, and has it been that way this year? Yeah, maybe not so much. All right, just going to run through the headlines here. Like I said, Saints trading Adrian Peterson to the Cardinals for a conditional draft pick. I love the concept of this. I'll dig into it later, but that's pretty great. What's the headline here? Indians picked the wrong week to give up winning every game. Oh, okay, great. Okay, the rest of the stories in the news I already covered. Penguins at the White House and people thinking that's not okay. Mitch Trubisky, the quarterback taken by the Chicago Bears, he's getting his starts. The Trubisky era is beginning. It seems like all of the rookies are getting their chance to play. What makes more sense? Giving them time to make sure that they're ready to jump into the fire, or to earn the position and have it yanked from them like Deshaun Kaiser? I don't know. I have no problem with going back to Kaiser this week and sticking with Deshaun Kaiser and say, hey, if you can get me more production and not turn over the ball with inside the 5-yard line, guess what? You'll keep playing. But if you don't, we'll put this other guy in, because we can't have that. We can't win games playing that way. Looks like Sam Bradford, another injury. Man, the Giants wide receivers are all injured. I had Odell Beckham on my team, and he's out for the season. Now Brandon Marshall. Oh, man, I wonder if the Giants are going to win a game this year. Okay. And then Jerry Jones saying they had a flag policy in place late last season. Of course, ESPN has fired Jamel Hill for calling for a boycott of Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys sponsors. Oh, I'm sorry, she hasn't been fired. She's been put on, her wrist has been slapped for 2 weeks. She'll be right back. Just give her a second to do a few talk shows. Then she'll be back in 2 weeks. This is the state of affairs in sports right now. All right, so here I'm going to get into the Cleveland Indians. I didn't have the heart in me to do this right after the loss of Game 3, and I didn't have it in me after Game 4, so I'm going to put them both together into Games 4 and Games 5. The Tribe were up. Oh, geez, I don't need this on here. Let's go. There we go. All right, so the Tribe was up 2-0 on the Yankees heading into Game 3. Had a pitcher's duel going on. It was really nice through 3. Judge misjudges Kipnis's triple. There we go. I should have practiced that in advance. Judge misjudges Kipnis. I'm thinking Kaepernick. Kipnis's trouble. Maybe that's why it is, because you can't say Kipnis's. Kipnis. Aaron Judge misjudged the Jason Kipnis triple. There we go. Yeah, Ramirez couldn't get it done. Ramirez is struggling in this series. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how much of that is because of Edwin Encarnacion. I don't know how much of it is in his head. I don't know how much of it is I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but he is struggling. Yeah, 6 strikeouts for both Tanaka and Carrasco through 3. Judge taking away that Lindor homer in the top of the 6th with Perez on first. That was huge. That would have been the difference in the game. We would have swept the series and moved along had that not happened. So for all of the home run storyline that you're going to hear about that guy on that other team in pinstripes, and a totally biased, annoying national media once again, openly polling for the Yankees, it seems. Something we're very used to as the underdog team. The guy that hits home runs, him taking away that home run was the difference maker in that game. And then Andrew Miller, are we supposed to believe that Andrew Miller is now the weak link on our team? The weak link on the Cleveland Indians? He was one of the strengths, one of the main deciding factors in how well we did last year. Was the performance that we got from Andrew Miller. Is he really the weakest link on the team? Corey Kluber couldn't get out of the third. Now Trevor Bauer couldn't get out of the third. Once again, I was a little concerned in game 1 how we left the bases loaded a couple of times. Couldn't get the big hits when it counted. And I mentioned it at the time. I didn't like it at the time, and we talked about it when I think Justin was on the program with me on Monday, or I'm sorry, for game 1. Then I saw the stat line yesterday that was talking about how we're like 4-16. I forget the exact stat, but the point is in closeout games, our record is bad over the past X amount of years. So you can think about it. It was 2007. The Indians had a 3-1 lead on the Boston Red Sox, who went ahead and won 3 in a row. Ended up playing the Colorado Rockies in what was a very winnable World Series opportunity. Indians were up 3-1 on the Chicago Cubs. Had a chance to win the World Series. Cubs won 3 games in a row. And now here we are. These are 2 more elimination games that the Indians have not been able to get it done with. 2 of these are Terry Francona. Of course, 2007 was not. But you have to wonder if this team, and I've been hearing this comment a lot, are we built to win in the playoffs or are we built to win in the regular season? I think a lot of this is getting overblown. I do love the fact that baseball does this. I like the fact that every play is magnified. I mean, how many errors did we have yesterday? Thank you. 4-16 in the last 20 closeout games. I appreciate it, Darren. You are one of our math nerds. Always have been. You're the poker player amongst us. We should do a poker show sometime. Ooh, we should do a TNAM poker tournament. We should meet up in Vegas. Darren, help us plan that. Are you in? Will you help us plan a poker meetup for the Unhappy Hour in Las Vegas? I don't know when we'll do that. That's a pretty fun idea. Yeah, but you're our math guy. Thank you for the math. 4-16 in our 20 closeout games. I have a theory, by the way. Of course you're in. You're all in. Moving his chips in the tape. He's in. He's all in. I will splash the pot. Oh, I love poker. It's one of the most wonderful games. No, but I have a theory that every live show that I do, every time that I do a video and I'm taking comments and calls and questions and stuff, I have a theory there's always a math nerd in the room. I could be on a thread on our Facebook page and leave a comment and I'll go, all right, for the math nerds, what does that mean? Someone comes through. I think Adam Reese did it the other day. But that's my new theory. I'm testing it out. Any group I'm in, there's a math nerd. There's a guy that's going to, or a girl, there's a person that's going to get the stats. Someone's going to give you the stats. But yeah, 4-16 is not a good look. Andrew Miller giving up that home run. I mean, that who would have thought that that's what happens when you put Andrew Miller in? It's supposed to be the opposite. So, I mean, look, this is the postseason. It can be, everything hinges on the next play. Everything is epic. And then you try to understand Giovanni Urshela and all the defensive problems. He's in there only for the defense, and he's not just not making the brilliant play. He's not making the basic play. At what point do you have to change strategy? I don't know. But like I said, I feel like some of this is getting blown out of proportion, perhaps rightfully so. But on the flip side, let's just on the flip side, over 5 games, I feel like we're not going to get 2 brilliant performances from CC Sabathia. I don't feel like we're going to get 2 dud performances from Corey Kluber. Could it happen? Anything could happen. I don't think it will. I don't think that it would happen. It's what makes sports fun to watch. I get it. But we're in a good position. My point to you, Cleveland, do not sell your tickets. Do not allow Yankee fans to infest that stadium. You better have learned from that Chicago Cubs experience and what happened last year. And I know some of this is, the professional ticket buying agencies. And by the way, can we agree that there's something off about this buying and reselling ticket industry that makes it tougher and more expensive for the local fans to go root for their local team? There's something about that that's just not. It's just not right. I'm a free market kind of dude in general. I find some of the most difficult people to be around are the ones that have to be one particular way on every single issue all of the time, whatever that is. Whether you're, libertarian on everything down to like the hardcore. You should see the questions in these libertarian groups I'm in. They're hilarious. Is it violating the non-aggression principle to allow a heroin dealer to sell meth to sell heroin to a 3-year-old? And you break these logical arguments down, and it gets more complicated than you would think to try to justify your answer, which I find fun. I find it interesting. It's interesting mental exercise. But sometimes things aren't as complicated as we make them out to be. If you had the opportunity when the Indians were a 500 team in the first half of the season to say, look, would you take an opportunity in Game 5 at home with Corey Kluber on the mound to advance to the American League Divisional Series? Look, Cleveland fan, I think you'd be pretty happy with those chances. I think you'd be pretty happy with those odds. I think you like the way that you're set up. I think you like the way that you're positioned with Corey Kluber. I think you like the way they're positioned being at home. And you're against the wild card team. You have the best regular season record in the American League. You got a shot, Cleveland. I think we can take this home, but we got to play better. I did get the feeling yesterday that the strike zone was different. And let me just tear down a couple of thoughts. I didn't have too much. Once again, some of this is stuff I've already touched on. The double down the foul line. I mean, once again, game of inches, everything is magnified. It could have been there, and it would have been foul, and maybe this didn't happen. A lot of these runs were unearned. A lot of these things that happened. It's a game of inches. It's a game of calls. That's why you got to dominate and not take your foot off the gas. I don't like meandering through and hoping. Yeah, well, we'll just lean on them. That's not necessarily my strategy. I mean, if there's something you can do to put that final nail in to the project, if there's a way that you can press the eliminate button, eliminate. That's the killer mentality this team needs. And I don't know how much of that is Edwin Encarnacion going down with an injury. You scrapped through it in Game 2. Is it catching up to you now? Can he come back? I don't know. Everybody was freaked out and called it a gruesome injury when he rolled his ankle. Yeah, and it was bad. It was bad, but I feel like the way that it happened, it protected him enough so that he could come back. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we can get Edwin's bat in the lineup. Maybe it would be more of a detriment. Just keep him on the bench for a 7th, 8th, 9th inning. You got an opportunity for a Kirk Gibson moment. Just stand there and swing and see if you can knock one out. I don't know. I mean, he's a good tool to have in the shed. I'll tell you that much. Maybe Kipnis and Chisenhall and Brantley, maybe some of these guys weren't the ones that brought you to the dance necessarily. But, there's that other school of thought from managers, and you say, look, you can't lose your job to an injury. If you earned it, let's get you healthy and you still keep it. And then if your production doesn't keep up, then it's time to make other considerations. What's right? What's wrong at this point? I mean, were we saying in Tito we trust during the winning streak? Yes or no? In Tito we trust? Yes or no? Maybe that'll be the name. I'm writing it down. Maybe that'll be the name of the segment today when I post it. Oh, so I'm on vid.me/TheNewAmericanMedia. If you can go link up with us over there, that'd be great. It's a new platform because YouTube doesn't like when we cover current events or politics. Our stuff gets flagged as demonetized, ghost banned, shadow banned, ghosted. Your content is hidden. You're put in restricted mode. It's pretty incredible. I've actually even had episodes about the Cleveland Indians flagged by YouTube as content not suitable for advertising. YouTube is killing itself. It's deciding it wants to die as a company as we knew it. It used to be a great place for open exchange of information and ideas, and now it's pretty horrible, creepy, totalitarian place. I mean, I've been on there for 6 years. We monetized a year and a half ago, and they've really attacked us lately. Since maybe February, March, April. They called it the adpocalypse when they started flagging content. So what I've been doing is pretty much doing Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeye only stories. The rest of our stuff's up there. We got 6 years of archived content. But, if you're watching on Facebook Live, we're on Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. That'll be for more of our politics. And then Instagram.com/TheUnhappyHour, which will be pretty much just for sports. Well, and of course, when sports combines with politics, I'll talk about it all day. I hope we can keep it mostly civil. Because we're family. You can have cousins, you can have friends, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, fathers, grandparents, nieces, nephews, daughters, whatever. You can have Steeler fans in the group. You can have fans of that team up north. Hey, maybe someone likes, like John Toburin. He likes the Cavaliers, but he also likes that team up north. Like Clint Kushner. He likes the Cavs. He likes the Indians, but he also likes Schittsburg. So I think when politics comes up, I think we should allow a robust conversation, especially when it blurs into sports. I don't feel like I'm trying to cram things in there, but if it's out there, I want to talk about it. I want to hear the best ideas, comments, questions, suggestions possible. I'm just asking you guys to stay mostly civil. But anyway, so Instagram is a great place to follow us. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Check it out before it's totally banned. It's all right. Figure it out. Twitter @American_media_. And then, what else? Well, let's just say that's about it for now. Anyway, yeah, back to the tribe real quick. I just want to finish up my thoughts. I already mentioned that Jose Ramirez and Lindor have been slumping. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. That's what Francisco Lindor did the other day. We're going to need it more from him and from Ramirez. Jose, J-Ram. You were an MVP candidate. Show up, man. We got to get you. Slow down. I feel like if the Indians could just, as a team, collectively decide to not swing the bat ever until a first pitch strike has been thrown, I think we'd be in a much better position. We are wasting these first pitch pop-outs, ground-outs. Make the pitcher work. Your decision, your strategy is maybe a little bit of this. All right, well, in this way, we're going to lean on them. All right, we'll lean on them. Lean on the Yankees. Make their pitchers work. Wear 37, 38-year-old CC Sabathia out, okay? Make it happen. Anyway, yeah, my notes here that I had on Game 3 are pretty much things I've already covered while I bounced around. The summation of the first game, Lindor almost winning Game 3, the Judge home run rob. Starting pitchers can't get out of the third. That's a very strange phenomenon, that tribe pitchers can't get out of the third inning. I mean, we're talking about Trevor Bauer and Corey Kluber. Very strange stuff. So I guess, look, is it in Tito we trust or not? Is it in Tito we trust or not? I guess the proof is in the pudding. The proof is out there. The truth is out there. I know there's an X-Files joke in there somewhere. Darren is saying Lindor has been chasing low bad this series. Well, then that's up to the hitting coach. That's up to him to watch the footage and find out what he's doing wrong. That's up to him. I feel like we've been chasing pretty bad in general. This ain't our first rodeo. We're supposed to have the experience. The lights aren't supposed to be too bright for us. So go out and get it. Cleveland, don't sell your tickets to any Yankee fan. I mean, is this in Tito we trust or not? It concerns me a bit. It concerns me a bit that we haven't been able to close this thing out. But I also think we got a good opportunity. And I'm happy to be a Tribe fan. Did some amazing stuff this year. I'm not ready for it to end. We're pushing it to the limit now. It's a best of one series. We've reduced it to something the Yankees just escaped from, which was a best of one series. I mean, Indians did that for the longest streak in American League history, perhaps Major League Baseball history, if you want to take the asterisk away from the game that had to be postponed and replayed the next day. Game after game after game after game after game was the most important game ever. And then down the stretch, when you caught up to the Astros, game after game after game after game was just as important after the streak to make sure you locked up that home field advantage. So now we have it. So the question is, are we going to keep it by not selling our tickets to non-locals? Or with the secondary ticket market, is that ever going to be a possibility again? Maybe that's something, a topic for another show in and of itself. There's a lot of angles to cover there, and I'm not sure what the right answer is, but I'm curious as to your thoughts. If you're watching this after the fact, type in some comments what you think about. Maybe we'll make that our question of the day. How about that? Question of the day. Thoughts on ticket resale process. All right, good or bad, I want your thoughts on the ticket resale process, whether it's StubHub or, go down the list. I don't have a sponsor as of yet. I don't have a advertiser. Someone wants to pay me to tell you about what they're selling. Okay, but if that means I have to love the system in which you're selling it, maybe I won't be okay with that. I don't know. I haven't given the subject full and complete, well-rounded thought yet, but I could think of some positives to it and some negatives to it. I guess in a supply and demand economy, it would be best that you can always find a market value to a price and go ahead and get the product as long as you're willing to pay a market price. But then on the flip side, that does let Yankee fan in, whereas if it were sold directly to the people first, it would keep more of a home field advantage. That's the situation, of course, where I'm assuming that the ticket resale places have an advanced algorithm that can allow them to quickly snap up 5,000 or 10,000 of the 40,000 tickets. Take a fourth of them off the bat. I don't know. I have no idea what the numbers are. I guess if that's not the case, and they don't have a lot of tickets to begin with, that changes how I feel about it. But I think, how many times have you tried to buy tickets to a concert? And then at 9 in the morning, in 1 second, as soon as it clicks over into eligible, you hit the button and it says sold out. And you go, that's not a thing. That couldn't possibly be a thing. So anyway, curious to get your thoughts on that. Quote of the day, comment of the day. Yeah, quote of the day, question of the day. That's what it is. Give us your thoughts on the question of the day. How do you feel about ticket resale sites? And I'll end it with this. I feel good about what this team has done so far. I feel like we have a good chance. I wish it weren't a closeout game. I obviously understand the critiques. I understand the nervousness. But I learned a long time ago that if you can just change being nervous into being excited, it's pretty much the same emotion that just kind of lives right here, like right in this part, like if you tense up, that's I'm nervous, or you're like, oh, I'm excited. It's very similar. So just enjoy the fact for a minute that we got Corey Kluber on the mound at home in a win or go home situation. All right. I'll talk to you in a few. Thanks for watching. Peace.